Welcome to present day PMDB No Rewind. Watch all future PMDB live videos on my live channel, simply known as PMDB Live. Link to that channel in the description box below. Enjoy sequels I Hate But Own, the trilogy. I think I'm going to need a stronger drink to talk about these films. Sequels I hate but own. Now in this video I am going to be talking about the sequels I hate in the Jaws franchise. Now the original film is a masterpiece. It's definitely one of my favourites, if not my favourite film of all time. 3 years later, in 1978, Jaws 2 was released. And it's okay. It's definitely a fall from greatness, but compared to the next two I'm going to talk about, it looks like a work of art. Now we're in the 1980s, 1983 to be specific. Jaws 3. And it is, well, fucking awful. It's a diabolical film. I haven't really re-watched this film for a while. Can you blame me? But I think the plot involves a mother shark getting revenge for her baby shark that's killed in SeaWorld or some nonsense like that. And of course this mother shark just gets into SeaWorld, as you do, and starts wreaking havoc. You'd think with a setting like SeaWorld there'd be a scene involving a square go between Shamu and Jaws. Do we get that scene? No, we fucking don't. Yes, it would have looked fucking awful, a rubber whale against a rubber shark, but, you know, might as well have had it, since it's set in bloody SeaWorld. And what is the first thing you think of SeaWorld is you think of fucking Shamu, so why is there not a scene involving Shamu versus the shark? It just makes sense. All in all, this is definitely not worth a watch. Just avoid. Now, 1987, the year legends were born, there was a fourth and final Jaws film made, titled Jaws the Revenge. If you have been unfortunate enough to witness the horrors of Jaws 3 and thinking of checking out Jaws the Revenge, don't. It does the impossible job of being worse than Jaws 3. Now, I think the reason it wasn't titled Jaws 4 is because the filmmakers just wanted to pretend that Jaws 3 never existed. Ironically, millions of others just want to pretend that Jaws the Revenge never existed either. Being a horror film and all, the scariest part about this film is the fact that it actually got approved to be released to an audience. The shark actually roars like a lion at one point, and if that's not bad enough, they actually recycle footage from the original Jaws movie. It's like they just couldn't do their shit and be done with it. No, they've got to tarnish the original film as well as make a shit film all at the same fucking time. There's a reason there hasn't been a Jaws 5. It's called Jaws the Revenge. Holy turtle turd Batman. Now, growing up during the 1990s, I fell in love with numerous shows, including these two, the 1980s Turtles cartoon and reruns of the 1960s Batman show. Now, as a kid, I just assumed that there'd be great film after great film released year after year with no gaps in between based on these characters from these two awesome shows. How wrong was I? Sequels I hate but own. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the only Turtles film that should be acknowledged is this one right here, the 1990s original classic. As a kid, I fucking loved this movie. I thought Shredder just stole the show. I loved the fact that he kicked all the Turtles' asses. And I have recently re-watched this as an adult before a night out, oddly enough, and I was still entertained by it. Now, of course, looking back on it now, you sort of look at particular scenes in a different light. As when I was a youngster, this scene would have just went over my head. Now looking at it, I'm thinking, well, that was a bit uncalled for and harsh. The scene I'm talking about is when Splinter, the big rat, is chained to the wall, and along comes Shredder and he just totally bitch slaps him with all his blades and whatnot he's got. And you're just thinking, fuck, if Peter watched that, they would have had a stroke. So as far as I'm concerned, the original 90s Turtles film still rocks. Then there's these two. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 The Secret of Oz and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, which has no title after it. I don't know if that's just laziness or unimaginative mind, I'm just not sure. Now, Turtles 2 is a really bad film compared to the original, but you know what? It does have Vanilla Ice in it, and it does have Kevin Nash in it as Super Shredder, so for those two reasons, I'm going to let Turtles 2 off the hook. But this Turtle Turd right here, Turtles 3 is a complete snorefest from start till finish. I have no idea how anyone without a great deal of alcohol could enjoy this. As a kid, when I was 5 years old, I didn't even enjoy it at the cinema. That's how bad this film is. And its greatest crime of all time is that it put the Turtles on the shelf for like nearly 2 decades and, or actually over 2 decades. I don't acknowledge the CGI film, it's garbage too. So by the time a new live action Turtles film was released, nobody from that era fucking cared anymore. Let's talk about Batsy now, shall we? Now in 1997, Batman and Robin was released, the film that killed the original Batman series. And Batman never returned to the big screen until 8 fucking years later. I remember it because it just felt like forever until he came back to the big screen. And it's all down to this fucking film. Now right off the bat, you know you're in for some serious deep shit when one of the first things Batman says in the film is, "This is why Superman works better alone." And you're thinking, did I just hear that? Did I just hear Superman referenced in a Batman film? Putting them two together, what a horrible idea that would be, right? Roll on 2016, eh? Roll on fucking death. So right away, you know you're in for one hell of a shit ride. Batman and Robin, it should be renamed Batman Clusterfuck, as there's far too much people in it. There's Batman, there's Robin, there's Mr. Freeze, there's Poison Ivy, there's Bane even. There's Bat-Bitch Batgirl, who was clearly just inserted into the film to sell more toys. So yeah, try out Burton's 2 Batman films, try out Nolan's Batman trilogy, but when it comes to Batman and Robin, just avoid at all costs, as it will freeze your brain numb. Welcome to Sequels I Hate But Own Free, the straight to video entry. Why is it subtitled that? Because the production, unfortunately, has fallen since the 2014 editions. I've no editing software at the moment. I can't be bothered downloading it. I'm getting lazy in my old age. And this webcam was just dog shit. Anyway, let's jump right into it, shall we? It's annoying when I haven't got editing system, is it? I could have edited this already because I've made several mistakes already. The Home Alone franchise has 2 decent entries. The first of this is going to be a disastrous video. The first of which I saw when I was just a little kid. Home Alone, loved it. Saw it when it first got released on VHS. Couldn't stop laughing at it. And then in 1992, I went to cinema to see Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Still the funniest film I've ever seen in cinema. So, no complaints about the earlier 2 entries, but then, I saw this in the cinema also, Home Alone 3. You'd think with the 4 baddies, there'd be 4 times the fun, 4 times the pain for the consumer going to the cinema that night 20 years ago in 1997. I didn't like it as a kid, and I sure as hell don't appreciate it now. I was actually watching bits of it today. I was flicking through the channels, and it was on. I thought, hey, I'll watch. I quite like the soundtrack, you know, the "This Is My Town" song. It's quite catchy, but none of the rest of the film is up too much. The kid's not a very good actor, and actually no one in this film is a very good actor or actress. It's just so, like with the first two Home Alone films, you can sort of buy into Kevin's able to set up all these booby traps, and it's so funny, and Joe Pesci's so brilliant in the film. You know, Harry and Marv both excellent, and just you know, you're laughing so much at these two films. But with this one, there's no genuine laughter with this Home Alone 3 entry. There's a scene in the film, I was watching it today, the portion of what I did watch, and this is a kid's film, right? So it's got this very creepy scene where there's a guy with a dodgy wig on. Not that I can speak about hair pieces. My hair looks like a wig all the time. But anyway, and he's goes into the bathroom where he thinks there might be a naked woman showering, and with no hesitation, he goes in and pulls the shower curtain, and obviously it's not a naked woman, it's like a poster thingy. But it's like, what was he going to do? Do we want to... what? Is this Home Alone 3 or is this Peeping Tom 3? What the hell is this shit? Uncomfortable to watch, to say the least. But anyway, you know, Home Alone 3 is, you know... it should have... I don't know how it made it to cinema. It's the entry of the film, the franchise, that should have made it straight to DVD, VHS, and then straight to the trash. And, you know... back when I got this box set, there was no Home Alone 5 back when I got it, and I've heard about Home Alone 5. I'm never going to watch Home Alone 5, and that's just that. So I'm not going to, you know, it's not a sequel I'll ever own and hate. But when I got this back 10 years ago in the wonder of Woolworths when I was working there, you know, I was a geek and I picked up DVDs because I had nothing else to spend my money on, and it included this entry, Home Alone 4, which I've never ever seen. I've seen bits here and there, but I've never watched this film. I've never been bored enough to watch this film all the way through yet. And then you'll be asking, well, how do you know it's horrific? Because you haven't seen it, Paul. You haven't seen it, PMDB. I don't need to. I've just seen the bits that I did and looked absolutely... oh my god, it scarred me. It scarred me. Like, when I couldn't believe how bad some of these bits I did see were. They were really, really bad. And I was like, you know what? From now on, Home Alone 3, Home Alone 4, Home Alone 5 no longer exist. All you need, folks, is 1 and 2. That's all you ever need. You know, the other sets of films don't even feature any of the original cast from the first two, so you know what, just ignore them. Do yourself a favour, they're really, really bad films. Never watch them. Ever, no matter how bored you get. Make a promise to me. Never watch those films, because they're garbage, and uncomfortable, and trash, and like... just do yourself a favour. This Christmas, check out or revisit Home Alone 1 and 2 and enjoy. Be entertained by Joe Pesci and co. Alright, this has been a bit of a disastrous video, but hopefully it will be so bad it's good. That was Sequels I Hate But Own Free. The straight to video entry.